Hearing number 8221 is being conducted pursuant to Section 26.100.030 of the Revised Code of the City of St. Louis. This hearing is continued from the last hearing date of November 6, 2018, at which time a continuance to this hearing was granted in order to allow time for compliance with the conditions of the conditional use permit numbered as 123644. The purpose of the hearing is to determine whether the conditional use permit issued to N&A Market CO Yusuf Amar Nayi Ali to occupy 4300 Chippewa as a convenience store with cooking and no liquor, subject to certain conditions, should be revoked. Again, the conditional use permit is numbered as 123644. The conditions in questions are as follows. Condition 5. There shall be no sale of items that can be used or intended for use, such as drug paraphernalia, as defined in Ordinance 68404 or its successor ordinances, including, but not limited to, food scales, glass tubes, disposable lighters with pop-off tops, steel scrubbing pads and screens, rolling papers, ephedrine or pseudoephedrine, diet supplements, sleep aids, bath salts, or other substitutes for illegal drugs. In addition, there shall be no sale of cigars or cigarillos commonly used or adapted for use involving controlled substance. Examples of which include, but are not limited to, the following: Phillies, Dutch Masters, White Owl, Swisher Sweets, Splitterillos, Backwoods, Optimo, Garcia and Vega, and Game. Condition 6. There shall be no temporary signage off or on premise or posted to the exterior or interior of the windows or doors of the establishment at any given time. In Condition 7, the applicant must apply for and receive a permit from the City of St. Louis Building Division before posting permanent signage, and the permanent signage must be approved by the Office of the Zoning Administrator before installation. The Office of the Zoning Administrator has the burden to prove the conditional use permit conditions have not been complied with. After all evidence of the Zoning Administrator has been presented, the Board will ask for additional testimony, if any, in support of the revocation. Then, the conditional use holder will be given an opportunity to present evidence. Lastly, the Board will hear other testimony in opposition to the revocation, if any. Your testimony is being recorded. When you come forward, please state your name and address and be sworn in. As you testify, please direct your comments to this Board and not to those in the audience. Members of the audience are asked to remain silent and not coach the witness. During your testimony, members of this Board may have questions for you. Following the hearing, the Board will proceed with its regular agenda. Following the conclusion of the regular agenda, the Board will deliberate, discuss, and vote on the hearing. The Board will notify the conditional use holder of its decision by mail in about 2 weeks. The Board of Public Service has in its possession the following documents, which are being introduced into evidence. Item 1. A certified copy of the zoning code of the City of St. Louis. Item 2. The conditional use permit numbered as 123644, issued to N&A Market CO Yusuf Amar and CO Nayez Ali to occupy 4300 Chippewa as a convenience store with cooking, no liquor, subject to certain conditions. Item 3. A certified letter dated June 29, 2018, sent to N&A Market CO Yusuf Amar and CO Nayez Ali, warning of the violation of the conditions that were found upon a site inspection and the potential for a revocation hearing should the violations not be corrected within 30 days of the date of the letter. Item 4. A memorandum dated August 1, 2018, from the zoning inspector to the zoning administrator, stating that upon that date, the zoning inspector found violations of conditions numbered 5, 6, and 7 of the conditional use permit. This memo includes photographs of the noted violations. Item 5. The public notices for today's hearing. And Item 6. Certified letters dated November 20th, 2018, sent to N&A Market CO Yusuf Amar and CO Nayez Ali and Faris and Mahilda Isa, 1727 Coachway, Hazelwood, Missouri, 63042, from the Board Secretary, providing notice of the hearing which was tabled until today's date. At this time, the board asks the representative of the Office of Zoning Administrator to please come forward and be sworn in.
I do. My name is Myra Turner. I'm zoning inspector for the city of St. Louis. Okay. On November 6th, an investigation was done, and it was found that the applicant had applied for 3 window signs and 1 door decal. So they did apply for permit for that on the November 6th. Okay. As of today, number 5 is still in violation. You still have cigars, roll papers. And number 6 was taken care of back November 6th. And then number 7 is still in violation because he still has some signs that are posted, permanently posted, like no loitering or whatever, but there is no permit for those signs yet.
Okay. So what we have after inspection today is we still have a violation of condition 5, items for related to drug paraphernalia, and condition number 7, which is permanent signage.
Correct.
Thank you. Any questions from the board?
Could you?
Yes, it's the signs that are on the wall, attached to the exterior wall, that says no loitering and
No trespassing?
no trespassing, no loitering.
Is that a condition of the store to have a no loitering sign?
Even if it's a condition, it still has to be a permitted sign.
Okay.
But I will check right here and see if it's something that they were asked on their condition. Give me 1 second. Okay, they have a condition on condition 11. It says no loitering permitted at any time, but it does not say to be posted.
Additional questions from the board? Thank you very much. If there's anyone else present who wishes to testify that the noted conditions have not been complied with, please come forward and be sworn in. Seeing none, the board asks the conditional use permit holder to please come forward and be sworn in.
Yes, I do. Niaz Ali,
State your address.
4300 Chippewa.
Proceed.
How you doing? The last time I was here, I was asked to take care of a couple of things with the issues that we would have, and I immediately took care of number 6. We went to the city for 2 weeks, and they would not offer me any kind of licensing to put those signs, the permanent signs. So as a solution, I don't know if they took it or not, but we decided to take all those signs off. That's $1,400 worth of signs that we just took off because the city wouldn't work with me on putting it. But to solve the issue, we took care of that. Number 7, the last time I was here, I was mentioned that it was under new management. They asked me to take off, which I took off. The next day, I left here, and the gentleman came in and took pictures. It's not there. I was not allowed that. No loitering. That was part of the condition, and I mean, I was asked by the older woman to put that in there because back in the day when it used to be a 7-Eleven, a lot of people used to hang out there. So I was not, I didn't know that was part of it. I was asked it was the under new management, which we took off right away. So I complied with both of them, and as far as number 5, I was asked to get a support letter from the alderwoman, and which finally we did. And I took care of all of this like almost the first week, 2 weeks, because we were trying to get a license for the window stickers. But they wouldn't give it to me, although they gave it to 2 other big businesses around me in that area. But we took care of it by taking the sign out.
Questions from the board?
May I?
So he has a letter, and the judge will pass it to you next, but it is basically a request from Alderwoman Howard to the Board of Aldermen to grant a variance for basically condition number 5.
Okay.
Okay? And so I'm assuming you don't have an answer back yet?
For what?
She has not provided you an answer back yet on that?
No, she agreed that the number 5, the second part of it, and in addition to, which is the cigars and cigarillos and all that stuff, she agreed to remove it by giving me the support letter to hand over to you guys.
Okay, so let's be very clear about this here.
Okay.
That the alderman is asking for this to happen?
Yes,
But this
it's
has
asking
not-
to remove not the number 5.
Right.
Number 5 has 2 sections. One, it's pipe, glass rolls, and all these stuff. In addition to, it's the cigarillo, and that's where we have the issue. Cigarillo, swishers, and stuff. And she's,
Right.
in this letter of support, she's asking to remove that.
She's asking for a variance for that.
Yes.
From the conditional use, which is fine, except that I don't see that anything has been changed or granted, which would be something that we would know internally. So we will have to discuss that to figure out where this stands.
Right.
So I'll just ask the question point blank straight out. So number 6, you guys are working on, you've taken care of, that's fine. Number
That
7,
took out the entire sign, so
Yes.
nothing is there.
number 7, you plan on taking care of that, correct?
As soon as I leave here, I'll make sure to take them all off.
Okay. And then number 5, you're working with the alderman on trying to get that problem resolved.
Well, I don't want to lie to you. Working with her was to get this. I thought this is what you guys asked me for. When I asked her, she said, just take this. Yeah.
There's no action. So that's my question. We don't know what the end result is, right?
Right.
Okay. So, okay. Any questions for the applicant from the board? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
We need to discuss this because we need to figure out where this is going.
Could we ask Turner about what to change the condition?
That's fine. So would you like Myra to come back? So could you explain to the board, we have a letter here from the alderperson to the Board of Adjustment, and what it's asking is for a variance for the gentleman and conditional use holder to sell cigarillos, small cigars. So the question becomes is, what exactly is the process that follows for changing a condition in the permit, and specifically that one because it is dictated by ordinance, I believe.
He would have to actually file for another hearing in order for them to even hear it as far as trying to change the variance. So he would have to go to another hearing. Right now, I'm not really sure that they are changing it because it's an ordinance. So I'm not really sure that they are changing it. But what I can say is he would have to go to apply for a hearing so that and have that letter so that they can see that the alderwoman is kind of working with him and asking about doing this. But he would have to apply for another hearing with the Board of Adjustment.
Right. So the Board of Adjustment would have to have a hearing, and they would have to determine that condition would be granted a variance or a waiver. And then at that point, we would get correspondence back. And at that point, we would no longer have a problem with the condition number 5.
If they did go ahead and give the variance for just the cigarillos and the cigars, then we would no longer have a problem. Well, let me take that back. We still would have a problem because he has roll papers there, and you're not supposed to have roll papers. So unless that's taken care of, then we still would have a problem. If he takes the roll papers out and they give him a variance, then it will no longer be considered a violation.
This letter is dated November 1st. Do you know when the next Board of Adjustment hearing is?
Right now, I know that the schedule is really tight with the holidays. I know that they don't have any openings relatively soon for the Board of Adjustment. So he would have to go up and talk to Sandy and see when he could get on the next available schedule to try to handle that. Even though the letter is dated November the 1st, I guess he was supposed to have his hearing on November the 6th, and that's why the date is on there as it is.
Okay. Questions for the zoning inspector from anyone on the board? Okay.
Would the applicant be able to go and ask for a variance hearing in room 400 today while he's here?
Sure. I just don't know what date they have open now. Because of the holidays and everything being pushed, I'm not sure when he would get on the docket, but he can go up there and ask, about a hearing.
It looks like they have a meeting December 12th and then no meeting on the 19th or 26th.
Okay, so December 12th.
Right.
Okay. Any further questions? Thank you. I want to ask the conditional use permit holder to come back one more time.
Yes,
and
sir.
so the zoning inspector made a very, very good point, and I just want to make sure that we get this on record.
Okay.
So we have two issues. One is with the cigars, which you're working on a variance.
Yes, sir.
And item number 2 is the rolling paper, which you're in violation of.
It will be out today
You will
as soon as
remove
I
that
get back
immediately?
to the... Yes, sir.
Okay. Questions from the board for the conditional use permit holder? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. At this time, the board asks if there's anyone present opposing this revocation who wishes to testify. Please come forward and be sworn in. Seeing none. Before closing this hearing, I would like to introduce 3 items into evidence. The report from the zoning inspector dated November 6, 2018 is item A. The report from the zoning inspector dated December 11, 2018 is item B. And a copy of a letter from the Alderwoman of the 14th Ward to the Board of Adjustment requesting a variance is item C. The matter concerning hearing number 8221 is now closed and submitted. The board will proceed with its regular agenda. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie. Here. Director Wilson.
Here.
Director Hayes is excused. Director Augustin.
Here.
Director Ergy is excused. Director Edwards.
Here.
And President Bradley.
Here we have a quorum. I'll call the meeting in order.
From the President, preliminary approval for letting number 8674, improvement at Fox Park Comfort Station, roof repair and ADA renovations, project number R 2018-82117. PSA number 1218, evaluation of the Custom and Border Protection relocation with WSP USA Inc. Supplemental agreement number 1 to PSA number 1201, police property custody relocation, 2150 South 59th Street, St. Louis, Missouri 63110 with Ross and Barazini Inc. Amendment number 3 to the Facilities Management Division Fire Protection System Services Contract number 71350 with Engineered Fire Protection Inc. The amendment adds service locations at the Central Garage, St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department, and the Biddle House to the contract, provides for increases to the contract labor rates, and extends the term of the contract through March 31st, 2019. Amendment number 11 to Facilities Management Division Contract number 68616 for building custodial services at 1520 Market Building, 1520 Market Street, St. Louis, Missouri 63103, and other city-owned and operated building per prior amendment with White's Maintenance Service, 462 North Taylor Avenue, St. Louis, Missouri. The amendment increases the contract maximum not to exceed amount to $2,555,000 $5,000. Equipment Services Division Repair and Service Vehicle Leaf Springs Service Contract with St. Louis Spring Company, 3126 Samuel Shepherd Drive, St. Louis, Missouri, 63103. The contract provides service and repair through November 30th, 2023, and it is renewable for up to 2 additional year terms. The maximum not to exceed amount of $750,000. Non-federal limited design and implementation reimbursable agreement between the Department of Transportation, Federal Aviation Administration, and the City of St. Louis Lambert International Airport. Evaluation, site visits, impact assessment, and mitigation analysis of the FAA equipment and facilities such as underground control cables, fiber optic underground cables, environmental studies, NAVAIDS equipment, communication equipment, terminal and weather surveillance equipment due to the sponsor's fuel form establishment project at St. Louis Lambert International Airport. Recommendation that the emergency work orders issued for the month of June 2018 by the Department of the President and Facilities Management Division, Board of Public Service for emergency work and repairs requiring prompt attention be approved. Recommendation that emergency work orders issued for the month of July 2018 by the Department of the President and Facilities Management Division, Board of Public Service for emergency work and repairs requiring prompt attention be approved. From the President and Director of Public Utilities and Streets, joint recommendation that Great Rivers Greenway for public improvements to construct plaza area with stairs and ADA ramps that extend to Metro Link Station on 1st Street down towards Mississippi River, including removal and replacing sidewalks and alleys at 612 through 22 North 1st Street be approved, subject to certain conditions. From the Director of Public Utilities, recommendation that the Board declares as an emergency preventative maintenance on vehicle number 274415 be approved. From the Director of Public Utilities and Streets, joint recommendation that the following permits be approved subject to certain conditions as follows. Charter, starting at the manhole at 315 North 10th Street, bore from manhole to manhole at 10th and Olive, bore to manhole at 10th and 920 Olive, bore from manhole in 10th Street to building 920 Olive. AT&T, stored at AT&T handhold located at McCossick at the front of 6235 McCossick. From this handhold, bore north down McCossick for 157 feet, then turn and cross McCossick for an additional 60 feet before meeting up with the customer-provided conduit at the front of 6240 McCossick. A 2-inch poly pipe with fiber cable inside will be placed. AT&T, stored at the existing AT&T manhole located on Virginia and Poping, front 8020 Virginia. From this manhole, bore north for 30 feet and then turn and bore east for 10 feet into private property at the front of 8020 Virginia. AT&T to place 31 feet of buried fiber cable on the northwest corner of Boardman Street and Shaw from the side of 5005 Shaw. Trench 25 feet placing west and right away on Shaw. From there, hang dig 6 feet south to existing pole. AT&T, stored at existing AT&T manhole located on North 22nd Street, just south of Market, side 2144 Market. From this manhole, bore south for 100 feet, then turn and bore east for 15 feet before entering the private property at the side of 2144 Market, where we will meet up with a customer-provided pipe. AT&T from manhole near 4400 Bircher, bore 820 feet to new 3 by 5 by 3 feet handhole at 4623 Steinlich from new handhold at 4623 Steinledge, dig 6 feet to a new 3x3 pad with fiber box. From handhold at 4623 Steinledge, bore 1 fiber 106 feet to rise pole at 4619 Steinledge and board 3 fibers 116 feet to rise pole at 4461 Catherine, etc. Union Electric Company, doing business as Amarin, Missouri, to install new pole for the Local 1 IBEW building at 5850 Elizabeth and pull cable through customer installed conduits subject to certain conditions. Electricals Building Company, aka IBEW Local 1, encroach with 1 4-inch directional bore PVC conduit from Amarin Transformer at 5850 Elizabeth under 59th Street to new Amarin pole. Approximately 53 feet of bore is under street and sidewalk. Electricals Building Company, aka IBEW Local 1, encroach with 1 2 1/2-inch directional bore PVC conduit from southeast corner of building at 5850 Elizabeth under 59th Street to base of new Amarin pole for future use. Approximately 53 feet of bore is under street and sidewalk. From the Director of Public Safety. Now we have the conditional uses.
Good afternoon, board members. My name is Terrell Island, zoning plan examiner for the city of St. Louis, representing the building commissioner. Per board order 766, transmitted with the recommendations for the following conditional use applications. Approval with conditions is recommended for 6 applications, and they are 3317 Minnesota Avenue, 736 North Newstead Avenue, 5431 Riverview, 4600 Chippewa Street, 108 Ferry Street, and 3425 Watson Road. I request that these applications be approved as submitted. Are there any questions or comments about these applications for conditional use?
Are there any questions from the board on the conditional uses? Seeing none, I'll take a motion, please.
I move to approve the conditional uses.
Second.
Moved in second for approval of conditional uses. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie.
Aye.
Director Wilson.
Aye.
Director Hayes is excused. Director Augustin.
Aye.
Director Ergy is excused. Director Edwards. And President Bradley.
Aye. Conditional uses are approved. Hearing number 8221, 4300 Chippewa, the convenience store, permit number 123644. We heard from the zoning inspector that there were originally 3 conditions in question. Condition number 6, temporary signage, has been resolved. Number 7, which is permanent signage, and condition number 5, which is items to be used for as drug paraphernalia, had not been resolved. We heard from the conditional use holder that he is willing to resolve the matter with permanent signage immediately, and that also he would remove rolling paper from the shelves to take care of half of condition number 5. And then I also have a letter dated November 1st, 2018 to the Board of Adjustment from Alderwoman Carol Howard requesting a variance of the first portion of condition number 5, which is the sale of cigarillos, small cigars. So with that informational background, I'd like to open the floor for discussion.
I move to table the decision until after they had a chance with appealing to the Board of Adjustment.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, moved in second. Any further discussion? I think what the approach here is that obviously the conditional use permit holder is attempting to resolve the issues at hand, and this issue with the variance in this particular condition is somewhat new to this board, and so it's up to the Board of Adjustment to render a decision on how they want to handle that. So that gentleman needs to get on the docket, and they need to hear all the evidence involved and understand it and render a decision. Any further comments or questions? Seeing none, can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie.
Aye.
Director Wilson.
Aye.
Director Hayes is excused. Director Augustin.
Aye.
Director Ergy is excused. Director Edwards.
Aye.
And President Bradley.
Aye, tabled. I'd like to turn your attention to our meeting minutes from December 4th, 2018, last Tuesday. Are there any questions or comments on the minutes as presented?
I move to approve the minutes from last week.
Second.
Moved and second for approval of last week's minutes. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie.
Aye.
Director Wilson.
Aye.
Director Hayes is excused. Director Augustin.
Aye.
Director Ergy is excused. Director Edwards.
Aye.
And President Bradley.
Aye, the minutes are approved. Today's agenda, questions or comments on the agenda?
I move to approve today's agenda.
Second.
Moved and second for approval of today's agenda. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie.
Aye.
Director Wilson.
Aye.
Director Hayes is excused. Director Augustin.
Aye.
Director Ergy is excused. Director Edwards. And President Bradley.
Aye, today's agenda is approved. Motion for adjournment, please.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned. Thank you all.